Well, it's official, folks. The Dead by Daylight team is now officially killing over half of the killer roster with the upcoming update. This is genuinely embarrassing on so many levels for behavior. I already speculated that this would happen. I knew it would. They are introducing even more perks for Survivor Base Kit. Um, the they're implementing a brand new anti-camping, anti-tunneling system, and the anti-camp system is definitely the much bigger problem. Um, the anti-camp system makes it so when if you kill a survivor and you have less than 6 total hooks in the entire game so far, the rest of the survivors in the trial receive a permanent generator repair speed buff. And what makes this even worse is they didn't give exact numbers for any of these new stat buffs, either whether they be killer or survivor stats, which is extremely stupid. I guess unless they plan on, playing with the numbers in the PTB, which, let's be honest, we all know they're not. They're just going to choose one number and be lazy about it. It's going to basically destroy the whole game. They also made it so Detective Tap's perk, Tenacity, is now base kit. And if you're slugged on the ground for more than 90 seconds, you can pick yourself up. Which, in my opinion, isn't too bad of a problem. However, when you combine it with perks like Flip Flop and Power Struggle, if you go down on a pallet and you're playing in a bully squad and you have 3 other survivors hovering around the one survivor with flashlights, you can do nothing as a killer. You can do absolutely nothing. This whole thing baffles me. It is so incredibly idiotic. It feels like literally none of these people thought about how this could be abused at all in any way, shape, or form. Someone on Reddit pointed out that unless these lower tier killers like Trapper, Doctor, Hag come with base kit Corrupt Intervention, they're never going to be played. Like, their pick rates are already fairly low. They're going to be even lower now. I don't understand what the heck these developers are thinking when they are implementing this stuff, because if you think about it for even 5 seconds, it doesn't make any sense at all. And to compensate this, they are apparently going to reward killers for not tunneling and not camping by allowing them to regress more damage per generator kick if they don't tunnel. And they also get a slight haste boost, which what does it matter? Again, that's not going to make a difference unless it's literally like 10% haste for 10 seconds and like a 10% damage reduction on generator. It's not going to make a difference. It really won't. But on some slightly better news, I guess, they are also... the Myers rework looks promising. They didn't change his model one bit, at least not yet. His Tier 1 Evil Within and Tier 2 Evil Within are now base kit, and you can swap between them at any point in time. The Evil Within 1 is now called the Stalker mode, and Evil Within 2 is now called like Pursuit mode or something like that. His terror radius is still relatively small. They did give him base kit Mori, so when you reach Evil Within, or not reach, but when you activate your Evil Within 3, your insta-down ability, if the survivor you're chasing has been hooked twice, you can automatically kill them after you've activated your ability, which I think is a long overdue change, because Tombstone Myers is way too predictable, and in my opinion, this change, it'll prevent people from just hopping in a locker immediately every time they get close to Myers, because it's going to be very hit or miss on whether or not they are actually going to get that kill, now that they don't know, whether or not his tier 3 is at max or not. So you could be able to kite survivors a little more away from lockers and then kill them and get the achievement. But they also got rid of the ghoul kidnap tech. Supposedly, you can't believe anything behavior says, because 9 times out of 10 they somehow botch everything they do, and they'll only remove half of something or only implement half of something as well, because they're incompetent. They are, and they get away with it. Clown is basically being reverted back to his old self, which, why even make the changes in the first place? Why even bother? The Unknown is getting a slight buff. He can now basically do orbital shots with his UVX, which, that's cool. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't own him because I've already purchased one of his perks with shards, and I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get him, but not right now. He's just too expensive for my blood. They also did a birth for Dracula, or the Dark Lord, which, I don't know. I've only gone against him maybe once or twice. I think twice in total, and from my perspective, he always seemed to be kind of on the weaker side. I don't know if it was just bad Draculas I was going against, but overall, they seemed kind of poopy. I don't know. His Hellfire, like Inferno, whatever, is extremely predictable. You can see it coming from a mile away, which is funny because they actually made it slower to activate now and slower to travel, which, okay, that's a choice of all time. They nerfed his wolf form by making it so the speed scent bubbles are now spawning a little less frequently, and the amount of time it takes to pounce has been increased as well. So you'll probably see less wolf form. They did make it so it was easier to travel as the bat form, which, again, you'll have to wait and see. Behavior loves their invisible walls everywhere. Other than that, though, really, this update is going to be horrible. Specifically, the 6-stage one, the 6-stage thing, because certain killers in this game need to tunnel in order to win. If you want a chance at getting even a 2K, you need to tunnel. In behavior, they know this, but seemingly they don't care enough to actually change anything about it. Killers like Trapper, Hag, Doctor, even Wraith. Although Wraith, he's iffy because he does have haste add-ons, but those killers, they struggle tremendously with keeping up with survivors in the first place, and if you're going against a competent Swift, you're never going to be able to get any of them. Or if you do, it's going to be after they pop 3 generators and they're currently working on the last 2. So, I don't know. They also are apparently changing a bunch of perks because they've added pretty much 2 more base kit perks to the Survivor's arsenal, Unbreakable and that Detective Tap one I already talked about, which, it's super stupid, man. I'll never understand why survivors get all of this base kit bullcrap. Meanwhile, killers, they just get, oh, here's a tiny haste boost. Here's a tiny regression boost. Dead by Daylight is treating the killer role as if all killers are equal, when we all know they're not. Killers like Houndmaster, Trapper, and now clown again. They're basically, they're not going to be useless, but they're going to be fairly close to with these new changes. And because of that, you're almost always going to be seeing blight, nurse, ghoul. You know, it's never ending. I really hope the whole, oh, if you kill someone before you have 6 hooks, then the survivors get a buff. I hope that doesn't make it past the PTB. It probably won't, because that change is going to be abused so bad. If you're playing with a 3-man Swift and they see you're on death hook, they're just going to let you die. Because why wouldn't they? It makes the game easier for them. And it actively punishes the killer for trying to win. For instance, look at the screen right now. I'm on death hook, and the Lori's on death hook as well. If the changes were implemented right now, I don't know. They probably would have just let me die. This isn't a 3-man Swift, but the problem is we don't know if it happens at 6 hooks or after 6 hooks. So, for example, if I would have been on that hook in the 2nd stage and ultimately left to die, would that count as another hook and therefore not allow the survivors to gain these buffs? It's very confusing, and it basically was made to be that way, seemingly, because they refused to put any solid numbers with stat increases, as well as, in general, how fast you'll be able to crawl away while recovering. I still think base kit, that base kit tap perk is beyond idiotic, because it's going to allow for extreme bully opportunities even outside of Swifts, and overall it's just super stupid. I do think it would be fair for survivors to pick themselves up after being slugged, because I myself have experienced it firsthand. It's not fun. But at the same time, if you're an entitled survivor main and you're playing in a Swift and you're bullying the killer and you're being slugged, you have no room to complain, man. You signed up for being slugged the moment the moment you tried to bully. That's just how it works. You know? It's not my fault I have to slug, it's your fault. If you don't like it, then don't play that way. Simple as that. It just all leads back to the fact that behavior is actively promoting toxicity in this game, and it's not good. A lot of survivors are not going to like this update. The same thing with killers, because as with all the other behavior updates and nerfs and changes, it's unintentionally making good survivors ungodly good, and then it's making bad survivors decent. So your games are going to go from either you curb stomping all of the survivors in a match, or you're going to be the one being curb stomped because you simply can't compete. I don't understand how this stuff even gets approved. They better be, you know, paying attention very closely to what the community says about this stuff, because a lot of these changes are either going to destroy the game or ultimately make a lot of killers from just stop playing the game. If you're playing a killer like Trickster, Huntress, whatever, let's say you get it down with your M2 from far away, right? Like 30, 40 meters. By the time you get there, their slug timer is almost like a quarter of the way done. And then when you get there, you have to deal with two or three salty twerps who are intentionally running around in circles, wasting pallets, you know, running infinite loops like through the killer shack, wasting your time, and they buy enough time just for their teammate to ultimately get back up on their feet again. You put them down again, and the cycle just repeats over and over and over. It's very stupid, and it just does not make any sense. Especially given the current healing meta, which still has yet to be addressed. Survivors will be taken off of a hook, and they can be healed in less than two full seconds, which is an extremely huge problem. Everyone says, oh, generators are going faster. No, there's just less time being spent on other objectives like totems and healing because of the current meta. The current meta is healing in general. Trading hooks and, you know, basically healing people on the spot in less than half a second. It's not good for this game. I believe you can have a maximum of 250% additional, like, heal speed. But even then, that's... It takes a 6 or 7 heal timer and brings it down to 2.5 to 3 seconds, which... Yeah, man. I'm really not looking forward to this update. I think the Myers rework looks promising. He can also break pallets with his new charge ability, which I think is pretty cool. But at the end of the day, it's like the negatives outweigh the pros. And ultimately, I don't even know how this is going to play out. It's not going to be good. I know that for a fact. People are already saying this is going to be a very, very huge problem. And how could it not be? Well, if you liked the video, agreed with some of what I said, disagreed, feel free to drop a like or dislike. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.